Hey guys, this is episode 17 of Just Casual Vlogs. I'm going to talk about a comment that I got on one of these Just Casual Vlogs, a recommendation for a subject which would be how I met Weldon. So, this should be fun. If you guys didn't notice, I have a little bit of a different layout because I am in a different car. I am in my wife's car because she is gracious enough to take my car in for an oil change because she's kind of near a place to do that. That's really convenient for me. So I'm taking her car this morning. But yeah, how did I meet Weldon? So let's give some backstory. For about 2 years at that time, 2.5 years, I was working on the Lola podcast, League of Legends Anonymous podcast. Go check it out. It's predicated on not predicated. It is focused on the idea of building a community, people that want to get better, learn more, and have fun playing League, because League can be way too stressful than it needs to be. It should be a lot more fun, and I believe that this game is extremely fun when you're playing with other people, and it gets even more fun the more you know about the game because it just gets deeper and, in my opinion, more fun. So anyway, that is the focus of the League of Legends Anonymous podcast. If you guys are interested in it, go check that out. So, how did I meet Weldon? I was doing the League of Legends Anonymous podcast for about 2.5 years, and I was like, hey, I really enjoy podcasting. I can't put more time into League of Legends Anonymous or Lola podcast, and I'm doing a lot of things on my own. I'm like, but I really enjoy it. So I was like, hey, 2017, so this was like in November or so. In 2017, I was like, or November 2016, I was thinking like, hey, 2017 is going to be my year. I'm going to push hard and see what comes of it, right? So if that means that I can make it, like, we'll see. I'm going to put a lot of time into it and see what I can do and go from there. Maybe I can make this a career, whatever. So what ended up happening is in November, I was reaching out to, a few organizations like Immortals, Team Liquid, Phoenix, just all these LCS organizations in North America. And I'm like, hey, like, can I make a podcast for you guys? Can I do that? Can I do that? And can I do this? Can I do that? And didn't get much response. Team Liquid did respond to me, but they declined as they're going through their whole Breaking Point fiasco. I talked to a guy from Immortals that seemed interested, but didn't happen. I talked to Beyond the Rift, great podcast. It's a YouTube podcast. I wanted to help them make that into an audio podcast, but things didn't work out there. So I was reaching out to a lot of people, or trying to reach out to a lot of people to make more League podcasts. And at the same time, again, I was trying to grow Lola as a brand and get better and push harder, find more people, look into marketing, those kind of things. All the stuff that I'm kind of working on now. And I put a really not a great tweet, and I pinned it to my profile saying like, hey, I want to produce a podcast for you. If you're serious about that, hit me up. And it was like poorly worded, there was no picture, it's just an ugly post. So, but I put it out there, I got it out there, got the idea out there, and I think it was like in about this time, like a year ago, I reached out to Weldon Green and I was like, hey, would you be interested in coming onto the podcast? But I did it kind of strategically. I listened to a podcast about, what is it called? Internal locus of control. Internal and external locus of control. And it's an idea in psychology. Locus of control is basically, do you blame others or do you blame yourself for things? So I said, hey, Weldon, would you like to talk about this philosophical, psychological, whatever, idea? And I think that probably caught his attention like right away. He's like, oh, sure, let's do that. So I tried to bring him on. It's hard to schedule because he was in the middle of coaching TSM, and he had a lot more responsibilities with TSM at the time. And they were getting into playoffs, and I already had stuff scheduled, so it was hard to find a time to fit him in, especially with our schedule, recording schedule. So it didn't happen. It ended up not happening because we couldn't get him in, and then there was playoffs for them going into Worlds. So and then after that, he didn't really get back to me on anything. I hit him up a few times, and I was like, okay, I think I get it. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to be on the podcast or something. So then in December, he sees my tweet, and he's like, and this tweet is like a few months old now. And he's like, "Hey, is this still up to date?" And it was kind of weird because I couldn't see what tweet he was replying to. It's really odd. And I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't see what tweet you're replying to." And he's like, "Oh, I was replying to your pin tweet. I look at my pin tweet. I'm like, whoa, I forgot about this thing." I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's talk. He's like, awesome. And then like we went back and forth a little on Twitter, and then he's like, hey, let's talk, right? I'm like, okay, let's find time to talk. And he's a super busy guy, not always super responsive because he's really busy. So it kind of just like we couldn't get in contact. And then finally, it was Christmas Eve. I'm like, hey, Weldon, like, can we talk like tomorrow? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So it was like at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. I was at my parents' place in their basement where they have like 1.5 megabyte internet. It was megabits per second internet, and it was like just horrible. But I was able to get a Skype call like good enough that kind of worked. And we talked for like 2 hours or an hour about like, oh, these podcast ideas. Oh no, it wasn't at my parents' place. It was at my place. No, it was at my parents' place, and then we talked later. So we talked at my parents like for an hour, and then after I went to California for a trip for a week over Christmas break and all that stuff. And then finally when I got back, I was like, hey, let's meet up and talk a little more, because I've been like thinking and stewing in my brain like, okay, how are we gonna do this Ask Weldon show, like podcast? I was thinking, because at first it was just going to be like, I'm going to just upload all your Ask Weldon videos and do nothing except clean up audio a little bit and post it in audio format. So we'd have like 136 episodes. I'm like, well, that's a lot of work. But that's what it was starting. So after thinking about it and talking with him, or thinking about it and, messaging him back and forth a little bit over break, we finally sat down after break and we talked. And we talked for like 2 hours. I woke up at like 5 in the morning to talk to him. I talked about at night. It was supposed to be like 30 minutes, and it was like a 2-hour conversation. Yeah, it was crazy. And then after that, all our communications usually happen like in the morning, my early morning, because he's in Finland. So we got super excited. He's like, oh, this is awesome. Like, we listened to the same podcast. We're both passionate about podcasts. He showed me Gary Vee, which has been like a life changer for 2017 for me. It's been crazy how much he affects me. It's kind of scary. I'm a little worried that I might fanboy too hard because I don't know if everything he says is right, but he does a pretty good job, and I rely on him a lot. Rely on Gary Vee's content a lot. Anyways, so that is how I met Weldon Green. It was a little bit of hard work over like the 2.5 years, and then finally like putting myself out there, taking some steps forward, and then getting lucky. And I really think like luck is an interesting thing. I think everyone has luck involved in their life, but the people that work really hard are the ones that take advantage of that luck. Because if an opportunity pops up every week, for example, if I'm not working hard, those opportunities pass over me. But if I'm working hard, I have more chances to grab that luck. If I work hard on a scale from 1 to 10, like 5, then that means half the time something lucky happens, which would be, let's say, once a week. Half those opportunities I'm able to take advantage of. If I work on a scale from 1 to 10, a 10, really hard, that means I'll take advantage of every lucky opportunity that comes by me. Now, if I'm not working hard and I have 1 out of 10, that means that only 1 out of 10 of those weeks, I will take advantage of that luck. So I really believe that luck favors the hard-working, but you cannot say that person got lucky and that's why he was successful. No, it doesn't happen that way. It really doesn't happen that way. If you're living in America, you are lucky. You started off lucky. You started off better than a lot of people. So luck is not a good indicator, a good excuse for success, and being unlucky is not a good indicator of being unsuccessful. Yeah, so that's how I met Weldon Green, and how our partnership, relationship, friendship, business business associate, whatever you want to call it. That's how I met Weldon. That's how I'm where I am today. And hopefully, through Weldon, I'll meet some cool people, get some bigger exposure. I mean, he's helping me out a ton already. We'll see what happens. Who knows? I I would love to be working for Weldon full time. Like he has a vlogger now, a videographer that's following him. I don't know what the status on that is. It's kind of predicated, or it's kind of I keep using that word. It's kind of based off of what Gary Vee is doing. He has guys, D-Rock, Tyler, maybe another Tyler, I can't remember. People that are just following him all day during the workday, and they video edit it and put it out as a daily V. I know Weldon would love to do that. I would love to do that for him, but you know, moving to Finland's a little tough, being married and having to rely on my wife's income if we do that. I don't know how easy that is to honestly just move across to another country. But yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll be working for Weldon full time if he gets bigger and brands and he's able to pay a good income for me or something like that. That'd be a lot of fun. That's how I met Weldon. Thank you, Gualinimo or I cannot remember your name. I'm so sorry, but that guy that commented on my video before. Thank you so much for the suggestion. This was fun to talk about. Keep commenting. Oh yeah, that's right. Don't forget, subscribe, like. We have like 15 subscribers, which is awesome. That's like doubled since last month. So I'm super hyped about that. Hopefully we can double it to 30. But again, once we hit 25, what do you guys want? Comment below if you didn't comment on the previous vlog. But my question for you guys today is, how has luck helped you in your career or just your journey in life? Let me know. It's also really nice and sunny. I love the weather. Hopefully it gets a little warmer. Wearing these sunglasses. Tell me if you hate me wearing sunglasses during vlogs because you can't see my eyes. But I'm not staring at the camera anyway until I'm parked. So, peace out, guys.